Trump and Vance tried to humiliate Zelensky, who refused to sign a mineral deal without guarantees of America's help to end the Russian aggression.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President.
You're either going to make a deal or we're out.
Do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
Good evening, and welcome to Sal's World News. I'm Sal Pierre, and tonight we have a bombshell story that's shaking the foundations of American diplomacy and leaving the world in disbelief. What unfolded today in the Oval Office is being called one of the most shocking moments in U.S. foreign policy history. President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance publicly berated Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky during a high-stakes meeting that was broadcast live to the world. The encounter, which many are calling an ambush, has drawn widespread condemnation from political leaders, analysts, and allies across the globe. Let's break it all down for you. The meeting that shocked the world. President Zelensky, who has led Ukraine through 3 grueling years of war against Russia, traveled to Washington seeking security guarantees and support for his nation's defense. Instead, he was met with a barrage of accusations and insults from Trump and Vance. Trump, known for his unorthodox approach to diplomacy, accused Zelensky of gambling with World War III and claimed Ukraine was being disrespectful to the United States. At one point, Trump told Zelensky, "You don't have the cards," and threatened to withdraw U.S. support unless Ukraine agreed to a deal favorable to Russia. Vice President J.D. Vance echoed Trump's rhetoric, berating Zelensky in front of the cameras and accusing Ukraine of risking global stability. The exchange was tense, with Zelensky attempting to respond calmly despite the hostile tone. Global reactions. The fallout from this meeting has been swift and severe. New York Times columnist Tom Friedman called the incident a total perversion of U.S. foreign policy, adding that it was something that had never happened in the nearly 250-year history of this country. Republican Congressman Mike Lawler, one of the few Republicans to criticize the administration's handling of the meeting, said, "Subtly, the only winner of today is Vladimir Putin." Russian state media has already seized on the moment, celebrating what they described as a public dressing down for Zelensky. A Russian TV host even called the meeting a public flagellation for the Ukrainian leader, something no one expected from the U.S. president. Meanwhile, European leaders have rallied behind Ukraine, reaffirming their commitment to supporting Kyiv in its fight against Russian aggression. French President Emmanuel Macron and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer both issued statements condemning the Oval Office, a betrayal of American values. Many are calling today's meeting a betrayal of the values America has long claimed to stand for. Ukraine, a nation fighting for its sovereignty and democratic ideals, has been a symbol of resilience in the face of Russian aggression. Senator Amy Klobuchar, who met with Zelensky earlier in the day, expressed her horror at the Oval Office exchange. "There was one aggressor, one side showing disrespect," she said. "Zelensky has stood up to a dictator. They have lost hundreds of thousands of people." For Donald Trump and J.D. Vance to look at him and say, "You never thanked us," is just an all-out lie. Klobuchar also emphasized the bravery of the Ukrainian people, recounting her visits to war-torn areas like Bucha and Irpin, where she witnessed the devastation firsthand. "The Ukrainians have been incredibly brave," she said. "You have to stand with them." The bigger picture, today's meeting is just the latest in a series of controversial actions by the Trump administration that have raised concerns about America's role on the global stage. From siding with Russian President Vladimir Putin over U.S. intelligence agencies to undermining NATO allies, Trump's foreign policy has consistently favored authoritarian leaders over democratic allies. Analysts warned that today's incident could have far-reaching consequences. "America is no longer the leader of the free world," said one commentator. The message from the Oval Office today was clear. America stands with authoritarian dictators over democratically elected leaders fighting for freedom. What's next for Ukraine? Despite the humiliation in the Oval Office, President Zelensky remains steadfast in his commitment to Ukraine's defense. In a statement posted on social media after the meeting, Zelensky thanked the American people for their support and reiterated Ukraine's need for just and lasting peace. European leaders have already stepped up their support for Ukraine, with Great Britain and France pledging troops to help form a security line once an agreement is reached. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, a conservative leader who attended Trump's inauguration, has called for an emergency summit to address the crisis to domestic fallout. In the U.S., the meeting has sparked outrage among lawmakers and the public. Senator Lindsey Graham, who just 2 weeks ago praised Zelensky as the ally I've been hoping for all my life, reversed his position today, calling the Ukrainian leader disrespectful and suggesting he should resign. Meanwhile, the Trump administration continues to face legal challenges over its handling of federal prosecutors involved in the January 6th investigations, as well as its attempts to withhold billions of dollars in foreign aid. After that unfortunate meeting, the world is left grappling with the implications of what happened in the Oval Office. Has America abandoned its role as a global leader? And what does this mean for the future of democracy and freedom around the world? One thing is clear. The events will have lasting consequences, not just for Ukraine, but for America's standing on the global stage. This is Sal Pierre, reporting for Sal's World News. Stay with us for further updates, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth coverage of the stories that matter most. Thank you so much.